Generally, I've been falling asleep on the couch, and then I wake up, and I'm like, okay, I need to go to the bed now. My contacts are still in, and I've not brushed my teeth. I need to go to the bed.
The contact's still in kills me.
Yeah, I used to not take my contacts out for like a long time. My mom was like, you're going to do damage to your eyes. And luckily, I changed that behavior at around 26.
Whoa, that was a lot later than I thought you were going to say.
Yeah.
I did it for like a brief stint in high school. And then I was like, why am I putting myself through this pain?
Oh, no, my brief stint was a for sure decade. No doubt a decade.
You're listening to The Janchi Show, hosted by 3 Korean American adoptees diving headfirst into what it means to be adopted, Korean, American, and more. And now, here's your hosts, Nathan, Patrick, and KJ.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to The Janchi Show. It is
2024!
2024!
새해 복 많이 받으세요.
First episode of the year?
We're back.
Are we going to put this out first?
Yeah,
okay.
we should.
Let's do it.
We probably should. Honestly, I'm not going to... Okay, before we get to any of that, I'm Patrick. I'm here with my co-hosts Nathan and KJ, back for another year of Janchi hilarity, Janchi fun, Janchi everything. How y'all doing?
I'm easing my way into 2024.
Yeah.
Easing your way in.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks have felt like a year and a half. So I don't know. But like, I'm like, oh man, it's only January 5th. But yeah, just for me, the last 2 weeks have just been incredibly long. So.
In like a good way or in like a bad way or like a
just
holiday
like in a way. Yeah. I don't know. Just like in a way. So
yeah.
Maybe that's how it always starts. I don't know. I feel like 2023 went really quick for me. And I don't know if I can't remember back to the January of last year and what I was feeling as it started. But I'm wondering if it's just going to start off slow and then just take off. And, all of a sudden it's going to be 2025. But
maybe. I feel like I'm feeling very similar to how I felt in 2020, the beginning of 23, which is very excited, very motivated to do lots of things. I feel like 2024 has started off very fast because I feel like I've just been busy as shit.
Is it because you have a child on the way or for other reasons?
That and other reasons. That and the rest. So
are you allowed to talk about the other reasons?
It's been a lot of podcast-related stuff. It's been a lot of work-related things in a good way. So just doing a lot because I feel like all of this business stuff starts in March, April, and this baby is coming in February. So I have to do a lot of things in January before I run out of time. So
exactly. Before you're hoping for sleep.
Hoping for sleep. You never know. I'm just hearing all the different kinds of stories. So
I will have so many tips for you when that happens. And you can text me in 3
in
the
form of dad jokes, exclusively in the form of
exclusively.
Nathan will go
like
he'll go full Dr. Seuss, but like dad joke style, and be like, you'll be like, Nathan, how do I sleep? And he'll be like, here's a dad joke for you that actually contains the answer for how you sleep.
But you have to decipher it from the joke.
You have to roll your eyes heavily first.
I don't know if you guys saw the episode from Conversation Piece that I put out with Emily, where I interviewed her, but I did quiz her on what Janchi meant, and she got it correct.
I was impressed.
I did too. I'm like, is it rude if I ask you this question?
I know. You were very surprised, which is really funny. You gave her no credit.
Part.
No, I did. I'm gonna be honest. I did not, and I feel like a bad partner, and I had to apologize profusely. And we're all good now. We're a copacetic household. But what does Janchi mean for any new listeners who might be joining us in this new year?
Janchi means to feast. Or to celebrate. It officially means to feast or to banquet. Actually,
the banquet.
It's another one. But it's our opinion that you can't really have a feast without it being a celebration, and that's what we're here to do. We're here to celebrate our intersectional identities, our stories, who we are, and how we're shaping the world as Koreans, as adoptees, as men, as just people on the planet. And sometimes we do that with the help of a guest, and we love to bring their perspectives in. And sometimes it's just 3 of us talking about our journey through the conscious adoptee situation. So
the
that's what
conscious
we're
adoptee situation. I like
that's
that.
what we're here to do
I
today.
like that language.
And then we feast on the snack or drink at the end. So,
You're right.
That's true.
Speaking of that too, by the way of banquet, I'm actually craving those banquet noodles, the Janchi noodles that we had that I tried last year.
I like that you said we
sorry.
and then quickly
I
corrected.
know,
You're
I
like,
quickly
wait,
corrected. We
wait.
were going to try it, but then you guys
We
didn't
not.
have an extra.
I
But
think
I
we had
tried
beer
the
instead.
packaged one. So I had the packaged Janchi noodles, and it was really good. So I want to find it again. So if you guys ever see it at the store, I would highly recommend trying it. So
I think I'm going to stick with our normal food routine. You get it for us, ship it to us, and then we'll do it that way.
Lazy. I will definitely send you some if I see some. So yes.
Well, I appreciate that.
Which I do have actually another box of snacks to send you, so I will be sending that soon. So
I've been to a couple Asian restaurants since I've been back to Korea, but have not been to an Asian mart. Well, I guess since we went, except for when we went in September when we went to H Mart. But in Indianapolis, just haven't went. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know why you're just like, nah, I'm not going to give them the time of day. They don't deserve my patronage.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel bad about it now that I'm thinking about it and said it out loud.
I met some people from Indy the other day, and I was like, whoa, I have a friend up there. And they were like, I was like, what part of Indianapolis are you from? And they were like, the northwest part or something. I don't know. And I was like, well, my buddy, I don't know where he lives. He's from Rensselaer, sort of.
They're like, where the hell's that?
Yeah. So, but they were, okay. So I was invited to go play volleyball with my white friend's church group. She goes to essentially a Korean church plant. So everyone there was Korean, if not Asian, except for her. And so I was like, when I was talking to these people from Indy, they were Koreans. And I was like, oh, yeah, I know. And then one of them went to Purdue or is going to Purdue. And she was like, oh, yeah, maybe I know him. Like, I don't know. Maybe he's going to the campus. Maybe he's speaking. I don't know. So, but anyways, yeah, it was fun. It was nice to be in a group of Asian Americans and not feel super like weird about how white American I am. You know what I mean? I was like, oh yeah. Cause like sometimes like if we go to a Korean restaurant in LA or I go to one here or whatever, like a lot of times these days, the Koreans, especially that I meet are immigrants or just like, whatever. And so it's just been like, oh yeah, we're from very different worlds and we barely speak each other's languages and whatever. So it's just nice to be like in a space and be like, oh, it's all Korean Americans, but then, whatever. They were all Christian, so we did have some historical connection there as well. But then they would like play worship music while we were playing volleyball, and I was like, "This is a weird vibe."
Very interesting.
Yeah,
that's the vibe. You like the vibe, or was it a strange vibe?
I was just like, "This is a weird vibe," but it was like throwback. It was throwback music, so I was also like, "Oh, this is nostalgic," and this is weird. Yeah, so it was a whole time. But the point is, I played volleyball with some Asian people, and it was fun.
Follow-up question. Did they ask, or did you tell them that you were an adoptee, or did they ask about it and then have follow-ups if they did ask about it? Or did you feel like you could just converse as one Asian to another? Yeah,
I was mostly just there to meet some non-white folks and play volleyball. So
sure. I didn't know how much story swapping was involved in this volleyball.
No, it's mostly just like, how long have you been in Dallas? Because that's like a thing that I can ask now because so many people have moved into the state in the past year. So I just be like, oh yeah, how long have you been here? And then so we didn't run out of topics before we got to like, so what's your nationality?
Right.
That kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it just comes up sometimes, or maybe that's just the situations I've found myself in the last 3 years, and now I'm finally feeling like you were at the volleyball game, where it wasn't like I felt pressed to tell them, oh, I'm an adoptee or whatever, and they weren't asking like, oh, where are your parents from or whatever. It was just like we're people existing as people.
No, I think it's interesting. So because of the holidays, whatever. So I hung out with. My friend and I both live here, and we grew up together. And so we just like hung out. So we hung out. This is like a sequence of events. So last Friday of the year or something like that, we went to play trivia at a brewery, Harry Potter trivia, and she brought 2 friends. Then she was like, hey, we're doing volleyball in a couple days. You want to play? I was like, yeah, sure. So then saw the 2 friends again. Then she hosted a New Year's party at her apartment. I don't know. My timeline is off, but you get the point. Hosted New Year's party at her apartment, and same two friends were there, plus some people I've met at volleyball, whatever. While at the New Year's party, we were playing fishbowl, and we created teams. And then they were like, "Oh yeah, the Koreans all did." So they did this like to do teams. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but you just like on like the count of 3, you just put your palm either face like palm up or palm down, and however that lands is like what team you're on. So all the palm down and all the palm up people, instead of numbering off 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. It felt very Korean to do that. And we did it a couple of times, and these girls were like, "Oh yeah, all the Koreans doing this." I was like, "I'm Korean too," and they're like, "Oh really?" And that was interesting to me because I was like, on the one hand, I'm like, do I not like what is it about me that where other Asian Americans don't like? I'm not coding myself properly as Asian American, and yet at the same time, I'm like, but do I want that? Because then like, if other people see me as Asian American, like if other Asians don't see me as Asian, then like that's like maybe sad to like my adoptee heart. But then also I'm like, well, maybe also white people don't see me as Asian, which means that maybe I'm just like a little safer for that. So it's like it's that whole like dichotomy of like how coded and Asian do I want to be appearing for like survivability versus like being a part of who I am. Like I know who I am and that doesn't bother me. It's more just like an interesting thing of like, oh, for whatever reason, I'm not like coding as Asian in their minds, even though I was like, yeah, no, I mean, in their defense, I rocked up like in a flannel shirt. So like maybe that wasn't helping things.
This guy, he's not, nope, he can't.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if I just want like full, it was like Midwest Asian and they like weren't prepared for that. But yeah, so it was just interesting to be like, oh man, do I care? Should I care that like they're not clocking me as Asian as I think that I am, or you know whatever. Yeah, so it's just the whole like thing.
Well, maybe they clocked you as Asian, just they didn't know specifics and they didn't want to imply which
like an
Asian.
Ethnicity specific.
Yeah,
ethnicity. So I mean, not granted.
They haven't seen my DNA test.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't just pull up 23andMe and say, "No, I am
100%. Show me your test results."
Yeah. You just wear it around your shirt or make a T-shirt of it. I mean, I was always really bad at that. I granted, we are adopted, and I am adopted, and I never really had exposure to other Asians in Oklahoma. So I never grew up knowing the differences of physical appearances between different, Asian ethnicities and stuff. So I've always been really bad at it. And yes, even though I lived in California, I started to kind of see some differences. But then I also run into the fact that there's people who are half and half or blends and stuff like that.
There's people there's 2%. There's almond milk Asians. Okay, there's oat milk Asians. Maybe they're part chai.
You never know how much percentage somebody has in them. It could just be a hint of Asian. So I just don't even try to because I've been so wrong so many times. I don't even make any prejudgments anymore. And I think this person is that.
Well, I think that's a sign of growth. That you're not prejudging people going into meeting them. You're like, you know what? They can tell me, and that's totally okay. They can own that part of their identity. I'm
like, his name is Chad. Oh, that's a total. Oh, nope, I was wrong. You know what? I retract my previous thoughts.
I retract my previous statement.
The worst one was when I had a wedding couple, and their last name was Lopez, and I totally thought they were Hispanic, and it turned out they were Filipino.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
My wife and I just had a chat about that. How they have. Spanish last name sometimes because colonization.
But I was so off because I just didn't know. So, So now I'm learning.
You live, you learn, and you hopefully do better. If you don't, off the show.
Yeah. But I also I was playing
straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
You overcooked
undercooked
fish?
Chicken. Oh.
Undercook, overcook.
But I get that too. I played tennis a couple weeks ago, and some of the guys that I played tennis with didn't know what ethnicity I was, and so they asked. So, so I'm not the only one, and I don't think others are either. So
that's fair. I guess I haven't thought about in my mind I was just like Asian,
sure,
but then they were like no Korean, but I have just been in that similar to you, Patrick. I've just been in that Asian American headspace, and so when they were like, oh yeah, the Koreans, I'm like, oh yeah, because also with Christian Asians, I'm often especially down here in Texas, I'm often very hesitant to be like, yeah, they're definitely like Asian American in the way that we on the show think about being Asian American because of the strong evangelical nature of Korean churches here. So it's like, oh yeah, I don't want to get into this because you're probably more white passing in your beliefs and your actions than you are like Asian American passing because of your religious affiliation. So it was like, yeah, maybe that's a whole thing. But yeah, I honestly was just like, I didn't even clock that they were maybe being specific about my ethnicity. I was just like, am I not Asian to you? Like, is this a personal problem? So it is, but a different one that I've discovered on the show.
Yeah, exactly what I was about to say. It is a problem, a personal one, because we were adopted. Adoption trauma. That's what we talk about on the show. Great time.
Is it?
Is it? Sometimes. Sometimes there's trauma.
We laugh a
Sometimes
lot.
there's non-trauma. We do laugh a lot. We've laughed a lot in 22 minutes or 17 minutes, however long we've been actually recording.
Speaking of, I guess not to bring it down, but how was the holidays? Did anyone have any adoption trauma related issues during the holidays that they felt weird about?
Not to bring it down, how were the holidays? And then completely unrelated note, did you have adoption trauma as related to the holidays?
I had some hot family goss that I probably should share with you off air.
Oh.
But it made me really nervous around childbearing with regards to my extended circles. We'll get into it off air. But yeah, it did kind of come up in a way that was very surprising and horrific. And so surprising and horrific, it was like, it made me laugh really hard. But like, it was not a good thing. It was just so shocking.
It's the
I was
unbelievable
like, you couldn't do anything but laugh.
Yeah. So it was just absurd. So yeah, short answer.
Okay. I don't know how to follow that up other than I didn't have that.
That's good.
No trauma related things, mostly just identity stuff, I think, and being in a good place with that. I think that's been the best thing that I've been experiencing so far, and I think it's all going to shift in February when this child is here. But I think that's where it's all tied to, and the child. And yeah, the nameless child currently.
Yes.
But yeah,
I saw that bit.
We were very much chill holiday. So we only saw her family, my in-laws, on Christmas Eve day. And then we came back. My parents were with my sister and her husband in San Francisco. They had a hilariously terrible trip out there. Not in a bad way, but just like it was just not great for them. But we didn't go for that. So that was great. We were just chill, hanging out. There was just, spending time together, watching Better Call Saul. So no on the trauma note.
Yeah.
Holidays, chill.
Good.
Did you have some trauma come up?
Not really. No, I had my sister here as well, her family. But nothing out of the ordinary. Just had some nice days and stuff with the family while everybody was in town, and got to see my niece, and who's I always wonder just how she's doing, because she's growing up in Oklahoma, which reminds me just kind of how I was kind of growing up and things like that. But
Oklahoma,
it seems like she's doing fine and having a good time. Has lots of friends and has leaned into more Asian related things than I did as a child. So I think that's I think that's good actually. So
in the Tulsa area,
yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Was any of Allison's family affected by the earthquake in Japan?
No, because most of her family, like I said, is fourth generation, so they were all living in California.
Were they affected by the New Year's Day earthquake?
Yeah, I was gonna say the other earthquakes. Not that I am aware of. No one.
Was there one in California?
Yeah, on New Year's Day, I think.
Yeah,
no way.
There's been a few out there.
I only know about the one in Japan. I didn't know there was one in California too.
Well, there's always one in California, but they're just more like small ones, like 4.1s and stuff like that. So nothing dramatic, but they have woken people up and stuff. I see reports on my Facebook feed. People talk about it all the time and stuff. So
staying up till 3 a.m. checking that earthquake report.
Yeah,
has there been an earthquake?
Yeah, I mean that was when I lived in California. That was the first thing I did is like quickly check Facebook. Okay, who's talking about the earthquakes? So
That's funny. How are your kids doing? Okay, no illnesses to speak of over this
Yet.
holiday period. Yet.
No, knock on wood. I don't know. Does that work?
That's metal.
Just knock on your microphone.
I did. Did you hear a noise, or did it not make a noise?
It was not good for your microphone.
Not good for your mic.
Your mic's not happy about it.
Okay, my mic is now.
Yeah, your waveform is saying I'm not happy. It's spelling it out right now.
It's really sad.
Yeah, just sad face emoji style with a tear.
But yeah, no, everyone has been healthy, and no one's caught that crazy RSV thing that's going around. Although I know I have friends who have, but we haven't yet. And we've just been off, like I said, from school, and so we're trying to find things to do every day other than iPads and TV and things like that. So it's a little challenging because we don't have school until next week, so we still have another week off, But
you'll make it through.
We're finding stuff. We're doing things, and then actually this weekend is my son's birthday. He turns
nice.
Yeah, I actually have two of my kids have birthdays this month, so actually it's going to be a busy month.
Celebratory month for y'all in the Nowak household.
Yes.
Well, it sounds like we, for the most part, got through the holidays unscathed, relatively speaking. I don't know. We'll find out about what happened with KJ off air, but that's
it's
good.
Not like, it's just wild.
That's good. I am interested to hear what you have on the docket, even just in the next couple months. You obviously have birthdays coming up, Nathan. What do you? I don't know. What does that look like for you, and what do we look like, even in this first quarter of 2024?
Yeah, I know. I mean, I was curious about that too, just because I help kind of schedule out our plan and stuff too. I wanted to know what you guys wanted to do, how much you wanted to record. I know we still have a nice long list of guests to be coming on the show that I'm excited to talk to and listen and hear their stories. So I'm sure we'll get to some of them as soon as we can. So if you're listening, we apologize. We will get to you. We will get to you.
We might just be releasing some episodes without Patrick for a while.
I was going to say, I will probably, this is probably like one of the last 3 episodes that I will officially be on. Unless we get some guests in that I can hop on those interviews and be a part of. But I just know come February 1st, I'm taking like the 3-week break, and I'm doing a lot of stuff in January to be prepared for that 3-week gap in February, because it just seems like the work does not stop. So
the paternity leave needs to be there for sure. So
well, that's the nice thing about working for yourself, is that you can just take however much time as you want. Not great for the income portion of it. I was going to say,
the downside of it is you don't get 50% or whatever paid family medical leave.
Exactly. Yeah. But we'll be all right. We're doing good, and I'm excited. I'm excited about everything that's coming up with the other show, but excited to see what we do here on this show, because I think I don't know. I feel good about it. Maybe I'm just feeling good about just life in general, but feeling good about what we're going to be doing on the show here in 2024. What do you think? What's in store for you? What's in store for us, KJ?
Well, for me personally, as related to and yet adjacent to the show, con in the summer is like a big deal. I think all 3 of us will be there.
I am planning on being there.
You're planning on being there. All right. So hilariously, the Janchi Boys will be at con, not as the Janchi Show, although I'm sure you can talk to
I didn't even think about that. That is pretty funny.
Or Nathan, if you want some Janchi swag. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to working with John on our topic. So yeah, it's just it's been good. Personally, I didn't say this, but Sarah got me an old upright piano for Christmas. So I have been playing the piano and realizing how poor I am. I'm like I'm fine in most settings, but like I'm practicing like Claire de Lune, and I'm like, oh yeah, and then I'm like, I hit this one section. I'm like, oh God, I'm really gonna have to just sit here and practice it. Which reminds me of like all those times when I was in I don't know, kindergarten, second grade. And my mom was like, you have to sit at the piano and you have to practice for at least 30 minutes every day. Here's your practice sheet, do the thing, whatever, because you're doing lessons. And now I'm like doing it because I genuinely just care about it. So I appreciate that, but I'm also like a little part of me is like, oh my God, I don't want to do this. Like I'm getting like flashbacks to the timer, the 30-minute timer, and the, the whatever. So, so yeah, I don't know. Like I'm excited to continue exploring what I can do. I think as a creative, and whether that's with music or some other like photography or video or things like that, web development, like which I think I experience that as a creative pursuit.
Sure.
I think that like I'm excited to see what happens there. Also over the holidays, I mostly rebuilt the Janchi Show website. It's not ready to go live yet, but like special features like it loads faster or there's a search feature, like just little things like that are like overall nothing to write home about, but it's like personal and important to me. That
it feels good
nice.
For you, to you,
yeah,
to you.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm traveling a lot. I'll just write this in the car on the way down to Houston and back. So yeah, so that was nice. But
thank you.
But yeah, so I think I'm excited to continue to lean into what we're up to in terms of discovering language and maturing in that language use. Excited to have more. I looked ahead at our guest list and like we've got more, not just Korean adoptees coming on, not just cishet people coming on, like not, all that kind of stuff. And I think that that's really exciting to me, to continue to expand the perspectives that we can amplify, the perspectives and the people that we can learn from, and just continue to make this a growing, safe, collaborative community for our listeners and for us is what's really exciting for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that would be great. I mean, honestly, I also, like I was saying, I'm excited about the guest list that we have of people that have applied to be on the show. So some of them who we know, some of them who we don't know, and we're looking forward to meeting. But and of course, Con, like you said, I'm deep invested into all things Con at the moment because I'm on so many committees and the co-chair and stuff. So we have so much planned, and we're still planning things right now. So we really hope it's going to be one of the best cons yet, and looking forward to Chicago, June 21st. For those who have not looked at the website yet or information, and there's some new stuff coming out from Con too, which I'm excited to see roll out. So yeah.
Patrick, are you excited about anything besides being a dad?
I'm excited about a lot of stuff. I think that it's been very interesting. This coming into 2024 is like the best place I think I've ever been in my entire life. It's like it personally, internally. Shout out therapy. And
shout out
shout out my therapist. And it's got me just really excited. I feel like recently I've been just watching and reading a lot of stuff that's just got me in a really good mindset. And so excited about being a dad, excited about all this work that I've got going on. I got accepted for a residency program at a university here in April that I'm working on a big project for another podcast, and really, really excited about that, delving into the Asian American community here in Indianapolis. So super excited about that. Sorry, I just ran up and down the stairs, which is why I'm sounding out of breath, and I'm feeling very much out of breath. Also excited about Con. I think that I will probably only go for the day that my thing is. I'm not 100% sure. We're going to actually be in Chicago in June another time for a friend's wedding, which will be the first time that we're away from our child, both of us, post-birth. So that is very interesting to think about, which is one of the reasons why I was like, because Emily's like, you can go for the whole time. It's fine. And I'm like, I don't want to be away from the child that long. I'm like, I'll drive up there during the day, drive back at night.
This is the way.
Leave right after my session. But excited about my session that I am doing, I believe, with Nick Ramsey and Kira Omans. We are finalizing details, I believe. I really hope that I filled out all the stuff that I was supposed to and got it submitted on time. I think that I did, but I'm not 100% sure. So very excited about that. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like I felt similarly in 2023 January, but I don't know. There's just something about right now in this time that's got me very excited about this whole year and what is in store. And I think part of that is, or maybe the majority of that is that we're about to have this kid. So yeah,
it's going to be an exciting journey.
I would also say that, like, if you're feeling good internally, I think that like really sets you up to feel excited about the year.
Sure.
And I think that, because I remember last year I had just gotten my job and was like kind of in between things with the nation. And, Sarah and I had lots of intentional conversations around who we want to be, around like parenthood, around all these things, like whatever, for the past number of years, like basically since starting the show. And I feel like I had gotten to a place where who I was going to be, I had like finished my shape shifting, and then I could just figure out like what my new powers were,
Sure.
for lack of better, word. Like I had finished my consciousness journey, and then I could just live into that. And I think that that's a really exciting space. And it sounds like to you, from what I'm hearing from you, it sounds like you're close to feeling like whatever this big internal work has been and whatever. And obviously we've hinted at it some on the show the past couple months, but it's just like where you are now is like closer to the end than you were before. And in a way where you can like rest and be like, okay, so now that I've like got a strong sense of like the way forward, I'm just excited to like start doing the way forward bit instead of like turning or looking in or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think that it's been like a big realization and through therapy that's really helped me. I think in 2022 was when I found like self-acceptance. And I think for this whole time between then and maybe like 4 months ago when we started to have this Asian American identity conversation, I was really like struggling and trying to figure that out. And then through therapy, I've come to realize that I was mistaking the idea of acceptance and self-acceptance with love and self-love. And I've been able to bridge from going to being in self-acceptance to finding like that self-love for me. And it's been like this big shift. And I don't want to say that it's like, I don't want to just have these super high expectations and they just shatter or over me or whatever underneath me. But it has been like, I feel like I've felt this market shift in a way that I did when I reached acceptance in 22 that it like, even then, like it felt like an endpoint at that point and like I could just live into it. But really I was like, still just, I was mistaking the two. And the self-love portion of it does feel kind of like an endpoint that I can live into. However, my previous experience of thinking I had reached an endpoint has me cautiously optimistic about approaching it in that way. But it does feel like I can do those things now in a way that I was struggling or thinking that I was able to do for the last year that I really wasn't. And honestly, had it not been for therapy and those conversations that we had on the show about that identity piece of it, like, I don't know that I would have gotten to this point. And I think also, being pregnant and expectant has helped with that as well, because I've been thinking it's not just it is about me, but it's also not about me, in a way. It's like, I wanted to reach this point for myself because I want to be able to model and show what it looks like to do that work for my kid. And so that way, feeling like I can live into that full humanity of me is what I want my kid to be able to do. Of anything that I could possibly give them, it's like, I want you to know that you can do that and you can always be working on yourself and do that. And then a bunch of auxiliary stuff that I also want to leave them that is not anything to do with that. But yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and if you, like Patrick, want to start therapy, you can go to betterhelp.com/Janchi Show.
Yes, we've done it. We made it.
Listeners, you'll know that we've arrived as a podcast when BetterHelp is like, yeah, we'll throw ads on your podcast.
BetterHelp.
Come contact us.
I don't even know any other ones right now because I feel like I'm running no ads on my podcast player, so I don't listen to podcasts with ads, and I can't think of what ads there are.
Yeah, last one I heard was for like a car commercial. There's one to like no ads on Amazon Prime. I don't know, whatever.
I keep thinking of Lisa Mattress because that used to be her OG ad. Like everybody was talking Lisa mattresses, and that's the one that keeps popping
with the wrong
up in my
demographic,
mind.
but Dipsy.
I don't know what that
which is like a sensual story time for sleepies.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's mostly like targeted for women, but we have
Sure.
women listeners, women on the show. It's fine.
I would bet that the majority of our listeners are female or female identifying.
Hey, if you're a person listening to the show, call in and
let us know.
I think actually our statistics did show that. Actually, did say that. Oh, we could do the voicemail. I did want to say something though, too, Patrick, because I'm again just congratulations. Still, I know I've said it multiple times, but I'm very excited for you and the things that will be, coming forward, moving forward, and everything. Just because it is such a big milestone, and I don't know if it feels bigger to me, or at least it did to me at the time, just because it was like seeing that bloodline. Actual bloodline moving forward, and it was just so crazy for the identity in myself and seeing resemblances in my child. And it was, I mean, it's a very magical moment. You're gonna have so many ups and downs, but so many amazing moments. So I'm really happy and looking forward to having more dad chats with you on topics.
Well, I appreciate those words, for real. I think what's been really interesting to me is like people keep asking me, how do you feel? How are you feeling right now, especially as you get so much closer? And for the past 2 months or so, I've felt really calm. Like I don't feel nervous. I don't feel anxious. Like I'm just feel ready. And I know that's all going to change the moment, maybe even slightly before the baby comes out of the womb finally and is now in this same physical space. But it's just like this work that I've been doing internally has gotten me like, it just has gotten me to this place of peace almost with me and with the world. And despite the fact that the world is chaos still, but it just felt really like I'm just really just ready. And I know that I've been describing it as like I'm in the eye of the storm. I think like I was in this constant chaos and chaotic motion, and then I reached this place of calmness, and I'm like, yes, everything's good. And then the baby's gonna get here, and it's just gonna be like storm all over again in multiple different ways, and maybe not identity ways, but I think that's one of the things I've been thinking about that's gonna trigger some of that chaos in a good way, is that idea of like seeing this biology reflected, my own biology reflected in a living relative that I've never had. And, I've been thinking about birth family and birth parents specifically, and realizing, over the course of the last 6 months or so, that I've never been able to physically in my mind picture what those people look like, sound like, their aura, whatever that is. I just can't even imagine it. And so to have that finally, and I appreciate you sharing it. I feel like I could tell maybe a little bit of emotion coming through in your voice too, like reminiscing on those moments. Like I honestly can't even think about, like, I can't even imagine what that feeling is going to be like, but I know it's going to kind of thrust me back into this chaos that I feel like I've gotten out of for now, but in the best of ways. And I know really the reason that you're so excited is that we can tell inside dad jokes and KJ will be on the outside.
Yay.
KJ's like, I'm out. I quit the show.
It's fine. I was going to say I think what's nice too about like Patrick, where you are, and I've felt this for myself, is like more than the need to change, or like I feel like when you hit an arrival point, like part of the living into it, and maybe I think part of the journey that you've been on is looking ahead to parenthood, is like, yes, there are like the benefit of being human is there's an infinite number of ways to improve yourself, but like hopefully they're not so drastic, so total like shapeshiftery. Like we've talked about, we've had a number of adoptees who have been like, I don't know, I like came out of the fog, I came into consciousness, and I'm like, who even am I anymore, right? But now that you know that, that's the bit that you can continue working on that. You can chip away at it, but then like when your kid is like, how do I get out of these diapers because I want to move into pull-ups or whatever, then it's like you can set that down because it's not quite as urgent. Exactly. And you have like more capacity to give and more space in your yourself to give to another life form, be that your child, your partner, your job, your friends, your, any of that. And I think that that's like part of the, part of that sense of like, yeah, I know where I'm going now. Is like, not only do I know where I'm going, I got a full tank of gas. I got my road trip snacks. I'm like, I got my DJ blasting the music. Like, I'm so ready to do this. And I think that that's a really exciting way to come into a year. And I appreciate you saying, like, even though the world is like, you're basically still on fire, there's still a lot of things that are worth using that energy for. And I think that some of us will, and 100% will use that energy for that. It's just like, it also, like, we have the world at large and we have the world that we live in. And so I think it's like, while holding both of those in our hands, to be really excited about where we are for the world that we live in. I think that's really great.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you sharing that and saying those things, and I'm excited. And I appreciate you saying it, because Emily and I just talked about this. When I first started all of this journey, it felt like this was the only thing I could do, and like I had to do it. And like eventually, I got to a point where it felt like I could do more things. But again, with this whole identity conversation that we'd been having, in the past few months, it felt like the thing I was struggling with was this forcedness of being Korean and like choosing that identity or having to be that. And I think just like with conversation and with time and with shout out therapy, it really helped me get to this point where I could, again, like you said, figure out when I can set stuff down, figure out when I can pick stuff up, figure out how to give more of my time to not just my intermediate family, my immediate family, but the community and family that I want to build here in Indianapolis. And it's like, I just met with another adoptee who hit me up on LinkedIn the other day. And, just even having time for something small, like a 30-minute conversation, to do that and not feel like I'm like forced into having to do all of this, because I've sprinted back, a little bit further along the 30-year timeline that I was trying to claw myself back from, that I'd been running away. And I'm, just in that better place. So I appreciate you saying that. And yeah, just glad to be here and excited for what's next. So
yeah, we're excited to continue the show, excited for what 2024 brings. We're excited for our snack that's coming up in this very next segment. So when we come back, we're actually going to jump into a snack that is drinkable, aka a drink. Here's that break.
Welcome back to the Janchi Show. Food portion time, where, as we've just found out, is not a food portion. It's a drink portion.
It's a food portion you can drink.
Drinkable.
It's a food portion you can drink, a.k.a. a drink.
Just a drink.
I've been wanting to try this because it's been sitting in my fridge just staring at me saying, drink me, drink me. And so I'm excited that we're actually going to try it. Because I didn't want to try it, of course, before the show. It is a drink made by SFC Bio, that's the name of the brand, SFC Bio. It is a sparkling watermelon soda, and I mean, the can is very creative. It looks like a little watermelon drink. It's got like watermelon seeds on it. It's red, and then the bottom of it's green. So.
They look like little tears.
Yeah, I know. Maybe.
It also says
exceso calorías.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exceso
It's
calorías.
Also some Spanish.
Exceso azúcares. Secretaria de Salud. So from the health department, health secretary. I assume exceso means excessive?
I would assume, if I had to guess.
I mean, on the very front, it also says the most ideal taste ever. So,
all right, well, that makes me want to drink it.
So this has 100.
Unleash the watermelon.
Okay, wait. So this is from what I understand, this is, well, I guess the can says sparkling watermelon. As we're in the States familiar with, right? There's like LaCroix or Waterloo or whatever that have like 0 calories, 0 caffeine, whatever. This has 106 calories.
Mm-hmm.
So
damn, there must be actual watermelon in here.
So like excessive sugar, excessive calories. That
it does.
Wild.
It does say excessive. It doesn't say 0.
I like that it says the most ideal taste, comma, ever, with no punctuation instead of doing like an ellipses between taste and ever. I like the way that people label stuff. Good job, marketing.
Oh.
Unleash the watermelon. I love
Unleash the
I
watermelon.
love English on Korean products.
Well, you know what's really funny is on the website of the company,
Ooh,
it says the design, it talks about how it's a pretty design, but then it also says it's as if you're eating a real watermelon.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It definitely is sweet. I mean,
I'm gonna go give this to my wife.
Than, like sparkling water.
Well, y'all, we have a voicemail to listen to. So before we get too into our opinions, as we continue tasting, cue up VMail 2, please.
Queuing up VMail 2.
Next week on the Janchi Show, a deep dive into Toonces the Driving Cat. Love you guys. Appreciate what you do. Thank you. Keep up the excellent work.
Hold on. Wait, what? I got to play it again. KJ's gone. I got to play it again because I did not hear the cat mascot.
The Toonces.
Next week on the
It's
Janchi
from Saturday Night
Show,
Live.
a deep dive into Toonces the Driving Cat. Love you guys. Appreciate what you do. Thank you. Keep up the excellent work.
Nice. I like that. That's a shout out to some old school Saturday Night Live. So
okay, that's a throwback.
Throwback
SNL.
Probably from the time when you were like, "Yeah, I watch
yes.
SNL," and we were like, "What is SNL?" We don't.
I had multiple people contact me saying that they totally listened to the skits and stuff that I talked about. So
okay, yeah,
I'm not
I was
the
just
only
like,
one.
I was like, "What? What did it even say?" I didn't understand. I did not get it, but it's because I didn't have the vocab.
Are we taking
I know
guesses?
who said that.
I feel like I know who said by the voice, but I'm not 100% sure. Because it sounded like he might be sick or sleeping. Like he just woke up.
It sounded like Eric.
That's who I thought it sounded like.
Okay.
Well, the world will never know.
We'll never know. They didn't say.
Never know.
Yes. There was a theme song to the Toonces the Driving Cat, too.
All right, let's hear it.
Into it, but
yeah, just sing it for us.
You guys can go YouTube it. I'm
All right, I'm not gonna lie. This drink is like that one cookie that we had that was like 600 calories per slice of cookie.
We all lost our ever-loving minds.
So you're saying
it's
I'm
not
going
that
into
bad, to be honest.
shock.
But
wait, did you not like the 600-calorie cookie?
I did like it.
So good.
No, I liked it.
That was the problem. It was too good.
Oh, yeah.
I like this drink.
I think we all pounded them, and it was like, it was a lot of.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna have to. I mean, as watermelon drinks go, which I do not think there are many, this one is pretty good. Like I can't.
You don't think there are many watermelon drinks?
No.
Watermelon flavored drinks or watermelon based drinks? Sir.
Like watermelon based drinks. What are you talking about?
Watermelon flavoring is everywhere. There's a watermelon Mountain Dew, I'm almost positive.
Is there watermelon Waterloo?
Watermelon Waterloo? I like the sound of that name. That could be a great band name.
There's a watermelon LMNT, which is a
Waterloo is a drink
type thing. Yeah, Waterloo is a Texas-based like sparkling water thing, like LaCroix or whatever. What's the other one? Bubbly. That's what I'm thinking of.
Bubbly.
Yeah.
The watermelon Waterloo sounds like it could be like a wrestling move or something other hilarious name.
A band.
I'm going to give you the watermelon Waterloo. Oh, God.
That's actually that's the name of a rodeo competition in Central Texas.
I love it.
The Mountain Dew is just melon. It says the Major Melon Soda. So I don't know. Is that watermelon? I don't drink soda.
I don't know.
So.
I thought that there was. I don't like soda. I'm too high and mighty for the soda.
No, it's because I drank too much as a kid and I have cavities in every single one of my teeth. So
he actually doesn't have any teeth anymore. It's a travesty.
Yeah, I know. These are all dentures, baby.
Those are all photoshopped in. CGI. He's just got. We do CGI.
It's all AI generated.
I guess we don't do video anymore. But just in case this ever goes out, those are CGI. We have big CGI budget.
Do you drink?
Yeah,
do you drink?
We don't pay for our own editing, but we do pay for CGI.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of watermelon flavored drinks.
I think it's got worse the further.
No, I don't drink
it.
a lot of watermelon. Usually is too sweet, and this drink is pretty sweet. So I would probably have maybe just the one every month. But
yeah,
I don't think I could finish
classic grape kind of guy.
Oof,
it's definitely different.
Classic purple drink.
Classic
it's not
purple
a
drink.
Sparkling soda with a little hint of watermelon. This is like
it doesn't even taste like
watermelon
anything.
Sugary drink with some sparkling.
Well, I guess there is like carbonation in it. All right. Well, we are still deciding if we're going to drink this whole thing. Let's go to voicemail 1. I don't know. The title is cut off here, so I'm just going to play it.
Hey guys, just catching up on the episodes and definitely had to call in about the Oreos. The correct way to eat an Oreo is to submerge the whole cookie into the milk. Wait for a couple air bubbles to come up and then take it out and eat said cookie. And that's it. That's the only way.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, caller.
Only way.
That's all I got.
Only way.
I thought they were talking back to me somehow.
Sorry. Okay.
They're still talking.
Bye.
Nice. I love it. She knew you were going to respond, so she was just waiting.
Patrick was like, is this an actual phone call right now?
Don't interrupt me, Patrick.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
That's good. Hey, I have no problem with that kind of a dunking. That sounds great, except for your fingers might get a little wet.
That's
Okay,
my
that
problem.
was
My problem is the wet fingies
Yes.
in the milk. Also, I haven't had an Oreo in way too long, but so here's my method is I would dunk it like halfway, eat that half, and then like turn it, dunk it halfway, eat that half, turn it, and just eat the last bit, right? But the thing is like if you, and I've done this, if you hold it in too long, the Oreo just falls apart and then you just drops it in the bottom of your cup. What are you supposed to do then? Are you holding like more than just a little tiny bit
then.
of the...
First off, you're all doing it wrong. No milk. No milk.
No.
No milk. You
Patrick,
don't dunk them in
what
milk.
do you even...
You
do you
take the
dunk-
Oreo,
do you even dunk
you
it?
take the Oreo and you twist it apart.
No.
And so you have one cookie that has maybe a little bit of the frosting.
Look,
but
Patrick,
the
I'm
other
going to
side of
ask
the
you to stop
cookie
being
has
so
all the
ableist on the
frosting.
show, okay?
You can twist.
Not all of us can twist.
You can take a knife and slowly cut it off like that.
You don't know me.
Oh,
That's,
what?
I don't know you well enough.
I don't
in your
know.
knife
If
skills.
you're using a knife on your Oreo, then I don't know.
Okay, I did not mean to be ableist, but still, twist it apart, and then you eat two, and then you have two cookies. One that's got cream on it, one that doesn't have cream. You have two cookies. You don't have
I throw away the one that doesn't have cream.
Oh my gosh.
no milk. I'm not doing milk.
Oh,
I'm not
no
a fan of
milk.
milk. No.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. You don't. Yeah, historically, you did
not
look at a
milk
drink
drinker.
and say, "What is this Merc water?"
Thought I was gonna get kicked off the show for
I
Fun
like-
times.
Episode 6.
Fun times.
I don't know.
What is this Milkus?
I wouldn't say that I have milk every time I had Oreos, like back in the day, but I would say it definitely complements it. So, yeah, I'm also, I really love an Oreo milkshake. So that's a whole nother
Okay, I do like
degree
milkshakes and ice
with
cream.
Oreos. Yeah, but with like the
with Oreos.
crunched up,
Oh, and like an
crumbled-
Oreo
Oreos.
Blizzard from Dairy
Yes,
Queen.
yes,
Do you have Dairy Queen?
exactly.
Or like an Oreo McFlurry? What? Yes.
Yeah, a flurry. Yeah, either of those. Those are a great way of using Oreos. So
Okay, real quick. Heard that their Dairy Queens only go so far west. Is that true? Or is that not true?
No.
Is that a
Oh.
global?
they have them in California too.
They do? Okay.
Yeah.
When I lived in California, I thought somebody told me that there were no Dairy
I think
Queens.
they used to only go. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think they used to be a little more regionally locked.
I am remembering now why that came up, and it actually had nothing to do with California. I went on a mission trip to Mississippi in high school, and somebody was there from Kentucky who said that they did not have Dairy Queens. That was what it was.
Oh, so maybe they don't go like.
That's a deep
East
pull
or
from
south.
my memory.
Yeah.
I forgot.
All right.
Completely forgot that happened.
Some mission
know.
trip trauma about Dairy
Mission
Queen.
trip trauma.
Jeez. I know
Truly.
a lot of them are like comboed with Orange Julius now,
Oh, really?
So,
Yeah. Actually, I think I have seen that.
specifically in malls, but also in like standings. Like I have one down the street, and it's an actual store, like a building, and it's half Orange Julius and half Dairy Queen. So
Favorite
Nathan,
store
where-
in the mall. Oh, sorry.
favorite store in the mall, the arcade. Hello.
You had an arcade in your mall?
Oh yeah, I was at the mall every week playing those arcade games, and as a kid, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't think I did.
Aladdin's Castle.
No.
We had
Aladdin's Castle.
standalone-
Aladdin's
standalone
Castle. I still have a
arcades.
token from it. Yeah.
Nostalgic. I like it. Sorry,
It
I
is.
didn't mean to cut you off, KJ, with my
Oh, I was
dumb
going to make
question.
a dumb joke about how we're old enough to know what a brick and mortar is. Not we don't
Sure.
only exclusively do online shopping, and,
Right.
and food delivery. That's
Sometimes
it. That's
it feels
all.
like it.
I like how this food episode has gone completely away from our watermelon drink. And
Well, I think
I'm still
into all
drinking
different
it.
topics.
I think that was done on purpose.
So,
All right, well,
there's not much else to
close
say.
it out with this drink. What are you rating this on a scale of 1 seed to 5 seeds? How many seeds you giving it?
I'm going to give it 3.5 seeds. It started
3.5
strong. It started as like a 4. The flavor was so good. The carbonation was good. As I've continued drinking it, the carbonation has dropped off a cliff and the flavor has become too much. And now I see it is, in fact, exceso azúcares y exceso calorías de Secretaria de Salud. So, yeah, maybe a little less excessive and a little more moderato calorías and moderato azúcares would be better. It's also tough because, like, I just really like the sparkling waters, and this, like, when I think sparkling water, I think of water with bubbles and a little bit of flavor and not much else. And this is a whole lot of flavor with a little bit of bubbles. And if you told me there wasn't water and it was actually just juice, I'd be like, yeah, that tracks. So 3.5. I still enjoy it, but I don't think I'll finish it. It's like a 70. Yeah.
I mean, it's
passing.
So going back to my watermelon drink.
Yeah, it's passing.
Like I don't have any other watermelon drinks that I know, but I do recall having something watermelon flavored and it just being too artificial because I think watermelon flavoring is really hard to recreate.
Yeah.
Because it's mostly water, right? And I mean, it's kind of a weird recreation, but I did want to mention that this is a watermelon soda and it is not to be confused with the watermelon punch, the Korean watermelon punch. It is not like that. That's more milky.
How many seeds?
I'm gonna give it 3.5 is pretty good. I would agree. It's tasty. However, on their website, I would like to use their recommendation and say you should try it by mixing it with beer or soju.
Oh, soju, I could see a little bit. Maybe
I could see like just a regular plain soju. I think that would be pretty good.
Definitely not a watermelon soju.
Yeah, it says goes with oily things like chicken and pizza. So
interesting.
So yeah,
oily chicken.
Oily things like chicken.
Oily things like probably fried chicken. I'm assuming it's talking
gross.
about like
Oily
eating it with fried chicken.
Yeah.
So yeah,
interesting. I'm giving it 3 seeds. Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, I was gonna say, how much grosser is it to say something is oily versus something is greasy? Like, yikes. Like you think like a greasy chicken, like I go like, yeah, fried chicken, but it's like greasy. True. But an oily chicken, you're just like, why is it so wet?
Yeah, that's true. I would agree with that. Yeah, I'm going 3. I agree with KJ. It started at a 4, maybe even 4.5. Like that first sip was like, ooh, this is good. But now, I don't know. I'm a big fan of like pop and carbonated drink, not sparkling waters really, but for some reason.
Oh, wow. You're too high and mighty to drink a sparkling water like the rest of your generation?
No, that's the high and mighty people drinking that. I'm drinking straight from the tap. I'm drinking that well water, that egg water, baby. No, I don't know. It's just like each successive drink is worse than the previous drink. And I'm just like, if I keep going, it might get lower. So I'm going to stop. Stop at a 3. But other than that, 3 seeds. Yeah, it's okay.
I'll say I think that as the carbonation has gotten lower, it's like still technically present, but it actually makes me think of like a super mushy sweet watermelon. So I almost don't even experience it as carbonation. I just experience it as like this watermelon has been in the fridge for a while. It's got super mushy, and now it's like it's got that like those granules, you know, which is like a weird. It's a weird sensation. It started good and got real weird.
Yeah,
it's reminding me of like a watermelon candy, to be honest. Like less of a drink and more of like something like it would just like hard candy or something. But I don't know. Well, hey, there you go.
There you go. Sparkling watermelon.
To go find some soju now.
SFC
the most
Bio.
Ideal taste ever. I think that might be a little bit not branding for me. So,
unleash the watermelon.
I'm going to unleash the water. Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
This drink's making me out of my rind.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, thank you all for joining us here for the first episode of 2024 of the Janchi Show, dad jokes included. Thank you to everybody who has left us voicemails in the past. And
if you want to call in and give us like a hot take on the proper way to eat a food or any other type of thing, feel free to do that. That was really fun.
Yes, 100%. Even if you are incorrect, that's not your fault.
Whoa, the listener is always right, Patrick. Okay, I don't think you know this, but the listener is always right. Okay,
there is
I just want all the listeners to know, listener, I see you, I hear you, I'm on your side. Okay.
Yeah, me too.
I'm as a friend of the listeners.
Although I might use tongs.
Hey, I'm just saying your way of doing it is not invalid, but also it is not valid. So I don't know where we land on that, but I'm big on not invalidating people's experiences. So,
shout out therapy.
Patrick is canceled.
But if you do want to call in, make sure you hit that number 972-877-677-677-8867.
One more time with gusto.
972-677-8867. If you don't want to hear your voice played on this show, you can send us an email to janchishow@gmail.com or send us a DM to @JanchiShow, wherever @JanchiShow can be found on the social media accounts. We have a website coming out very soon, or a revamped website with revamped user experience features. So make sure you go check that out.
It'll be like basically the same.
Yeah,
JanchiShow.com.
I gotta get those aprons up there.
Revamped website with the aprons. If you are loving what the Banquet Boys have been bringing to your ears over the past 3 years, we would love it if you could leave us a rating or a review wherever you get your podcasts. Greatly appreciated there. And
side note, I heard on another podcast that something that people do when they hear about a new podcast is they'll go and look at the number of reviews it has, and if it doesn't have a lot of reviews, they'll be like, people must not like it that much. Do y'all look at reviews of other podcasts, or are you just like, oh yeah, I'll check it out?
Yes. Well, I don't anymore, but I did when I first started doing this. Like, I almost didn't listen to Dear Asian Americans because it only had like 2 reviews, and it was very new, and I was like, and I scrolled through more, and I'm like, well, you know what? This has the best artwork, so I'm going to listen to it.
Wow. All right.
But I do look at reviews of podcasts.
So if you, listener, are a believer in the power of reviews, help us out and leave us a review.
Help us out. Leave us a review. Send us money. Come to our live show. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do to support us.
Send Patrick a dad joke book. Whatever. Send
me dad jokes. Wish me well on the dad journey. And you'll hear more from me about it as the January winds down. But if you want to follow along personally, you can do so at Patrick in the World, wherever
it wasn't funny the first time
on the internet.
Sorry.
Nathan,
is this watermelon drink making you melancholy?
Nathan is at @NoWalk on Instagram and Nathan Nowalk on Facebook. Oh, that reminds me, you can also join us in the after party on Facebook if you want. It's still there. That's where Nathan is doing dad jokes to someone. And KJ Roelke is at KJ Roelke wherever he wants to be found on the internet. And you know what, boys? We're back.
We're back, baby.
Again.
The Banquet Boys are back. Still here for another year of incredible podcasting. But until next week, Janchi.
Hey-o.
Hey-o.
So off.
I'll just move it back in the edit.
Your watermelon jokes are really grinding my gears.
Oh my God.
3 can play at that game.
End of show.